Princess Mononoke is the 1997 Studio Ghibli film concerning the conflicts of nature, technology, and humanity. It follows the story of Prince Ashitaka, who is plagued by a curse from a demon, symbolizing the cycle of hatred and unchecked anger. It is a beautiful story and one of my favorite movies, so if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. I recently saw it again in theaters, and during the final scene, spoilers ahead, the forest is destroyed and made bare due to the humans shooting off the deer god's head, who represents the cycle of life and death. When Ashitaka and San return the head, the land is made new again, and San and Ashitaka are cured of their curses. The scene is complete with a gorgeous soundtrack and beautiful animation, and reminded me of when spring comes again after a dreary winter. Then I thought more and realized the movie and this end scene could be a metaphor for Easter and Jesus' resurrection. At first, I thought the deer god was similar to Jesus. They were killed, the land became dark, and they came back for the land to return and to die again. However, after rereading the Bible and analyzing the movie, I think Ashitaka's story is more of a resurrection story. At the beginning of Princess Mononoke, Ashitaka faces the boar demon, and that is where the curse is placed on him. He then goes to his elders and is asked if he is ready to face his destiny. He responds he was resolved the moment he let his arrow fly, the one that killed the boar demon. He's then told the curse will slowly kill him and he must leave the village. The oracle tells him, however, that if he goes on a journey with unclouded eyes, he could find a cure. In Matthew 26:42, it says, Jesus went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done." Jesus knew he was going to suffer and die, but his human emotions wanted for there to be another way. Both Ashitaka and Jesus have a fate of pain and death awaiting them, but they follow the will of their elders or God, hoping for a way to change their destiny, but ultimately accepting what is to come. Throughout the film, you see how Ashitaka battles with his curse. His mind wants to be peaceful, but when he gets angry, his curse and his afflicted arm lash out. This reminds me of Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. In the context, this is when Jesus is in agony and is praying to his Father for another way. Jesus is saying to the disciples to not give into temptation, either to sleep or to abandon him when danger comes. He knows his disciples' spirits are willing to do the honorable thing, but their humanity can be tempted easily to flee. For Ashitaka, this is more of an internal battle, his spirit versus the flesh. The temptation to kill Lady Eboshi, the creator of the iron ball that led him to receive the curse. As for Lady Eboshi, she is a great example of how there are no villains in the movie. She leads the ironworks, but provides a better life and work for the women and disabled people where they would not have anywhere else otherwise. She has a plan to eliminate the forest spirit and the gods to enable the townspeople to prosper. There is an internal battle of humans between the ironwork villagers and the samurai, meaning they need more iron. To make the iron, they have to cut down trees, which makes the forest gods angry, and they need yet more iron to fight the gods off. It's a cycle of iron and hatred and anger with Ashitaka as their mediator, who believes the humans and forest need to live in harmony. Going to my next point, iron is a symbolism for sin. At the beginning of the film, the oracle shows an iron ball that was in the boar demon, the very thing that had caused the boar's suffering and to become a demon in the first place. It came from the west, where Ashitaka journeys to find a curse. The iron to me symbolizes sin as it is created by man and leads to a cycle of violence, only broken when the land is destroyed through the cycle of life and death, as in resurrection. And now let's skip ahead. Throughout Princess Mononoke, Ashitaka tries to resolve the conflict between the forest and the humans, all the while showing compassion and generosity to both sides. Does this sound like anyone else that we've been talking about? Despite Ashitaka's attempts, the deer god, or Nightwalker, is shot and killed by Lady Eboshi. They capture his head as death goo rains down and destroys and kills everything in its path, forest and humans alike. The ironworks are demolished. Nothing remains but the few that survive. But Ashitaka and San, in one last attempt at hope, return the head, and the deer god accepts, and then collapses. And then something miraculous happens. Over the destruction of it all, new life is born. Plants and flowers grow, and the land is reborn. This is a physical manifestation of a resurrection. In the movie, Ashitaka and San are laying in the field, and he exclaims, "San, look!" In Luke 24:39, Jesus says, "Look at my hands and my feet. It is I myself. Touch and see. A ghost does not have flesh and bones as you see I have." Ashitaka's curse is also lifted, symbolizing an end of a cycle and hatred, and he is gifted a second chance at life. Both Jesus and Ashitaka were dead men walking, who were born again. To continue, Lady Eboshi sees her errors and agrees to build a new village, one that is more peaceful. This reminds me of when Jesus breathes his last breath, and the people realize the error of their ways, explaining how Jesus really was the Son of God. Jesus' death was not the end of him. The curse was not the end of Ashitaka, or his kindness or compassion. The death of the deer god was not the end of the forest, or humans. The forest may have been destroyed, but it was resurrected just like Jesus, and new life grew again. These are stories of hope when hopelessness is abundant. And this isn't just hope and faith in God, it is hope and faith in humanity. Throughout the story of Princess Mononoke, you see the worst in humanity: war, terror, selfishness. But you also see courage, resilience, and optimism. As Nicholas Kristof said, side by side with the worst of humanity, you invariably see the very best. And it makes me think of what being a Christian is. As Pastor Steph at Glendale UMC says, as Christians we have a gift of being able to see the world as it is, which is sometimes at its worst, but also to know what is possible when given the love of Christ enters in, when we are made new. It means not giving in to despair, but knowing that another way is possible. It means choosing what is good and what is right, even when sometimes it means breaking rules. Ashitaka had an idea that humanity and nature could coexist, when neither side could see that possibility. Jesus was consistently political and broke rules, which led to his death. Both made a way for new life. As we go into the season of Easter, I hope you think about how we are made new, how Jesus died and sacrificed so we could be born again, how after the harsh winter and seasonal depression, flowers can still bloom. I hope you think of Ashitaka and San, and that you can always see the good and hope in humanity, and try to make way for new life to grow.